Hey, what's up guys, it's DarkArmedDuelist and today doing a Shining Sarcophagus deck profile. So I'm really excited to do this one for you guys because this deck is an extremely nostalgic deck that can summon out all sorts of awesome boss monsters to help you go in for game. So without further ado, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell there so you can become part of the notification squad, and definitely check out the Patreon down in the description below for all those awesome rewards. Again, your name, description, every single video, getting assigned cards in the mail, and even getting to request a deck profile every single month to your Patreon. So without further ado, let's get straight on into this. So first off, we're playing 3 copies of Gandora G. Gandora G is an awesome boss monster for the deck that's actually a walking board wipe. This card actually gains 300 attack for each banished card, and if you control Shining Sarcophagus, you can special summon this card from the hand, and also pay half your life points to destroy as many other cards on the field as possible, and if you do, banish them. Then special summon a level 7 or lower monster that mentions Shining Sarcophagus from your deck and increase its level by the number of cards destroyed by this effect, which is an amazing ability to combine with cards like Silent Swordsman 0 and Silent Magician 0. We then play 2 copies of Dark Magician, the Magician of Black Magic. This card is awesome to combine with your copy of Gandora G, because this card actually can help you summon out a Red Eyes Dark Dragoon. This card's name becomes Dark Magician while on the field, and it also has the ability, if Shining Sarcophagus is on the field, you can actually special summon this card from your hand. And if this card is destroyed by a card effect, and a level 5 or higher monster is on the field, like your copy of Gandora G, you can actually special summon this card, then set a spell or trap from your deck that mentions Dark Magician, which is a great effect because our target for this card's ability to actually set to our side of the field is Secrets of Dark Magic, which actually helps us summon out a copy of Red Eyes Dark Dragoon by using this card as a fusion spell to be able to use a copy of Dark Magician, the Magician of Black Magic, plus Gandora G to be able to make a copy of our awesome Red Eyes Dark Dragoon, which is insane to be able to actually summon in this deck. We can play 3 copies of Gadget Trio. Gadget Trio is really good as a 3-of in the build, because this card has the ability that if this card is normal or special summon, and actually add a Shining Sarcophagus or a spell trap card that mentions it from your deck to your hand, which is an awesome ability to grab the exact card you need off this card's effect, making this card the best normal summon in the entire build. We then play 2 copies of Silent Magician 0. Silent Magician 0 is one of the best targets to be able to summon off your copy of Gandora G's effect, because this card has the ability, if your opponent draws a card, increases cards level by the number of drawn cards. Also, while this card's level is higher than its original level, it gains attack equal to the difference times 500, which is a really cool effect to make this card absolutely massive. This card also has a walking spell negate, which is an insane effect. We then play a single copy of Silent Swordsman 0. Silent Swordsman 0 is a great card to summon off your copy of Ties That Bind, and it's a really cool card to be able to summon out, as it actually gives you targeting protection, which is really nice. This card also shares a similar effect to your copy of Silent Magician 0, as this card has the ability, once per turn, during the standby phase, increase this card's level by 1. Also, while this card has a higher level than the original level, it gains attack equal to the difference times 500, just like your copy of Silent Magician 0. We then play a single copy of Archfiend's Advent. Archfiend's Advent is definitely a 1-of in the build, because this card is actually based on Summon Skull, which is such an awesome classic boss monster. This card has the ability, while you control Shining Sarcophagus, you can actually normal summon this card without tributing, and other monsters you control gain 500 attack points during your turn only. And if this card is normal or special summon, you can actually target a monster your opponent controls and take control of it until the end phase, but that monster cannot attack unless you control Shining Sarcophagus when this effect was activated, basically being a walking change of heart, which is absolutely amazing. We play a single copy of More Marshmallow. More Marshmallow is a great 1-of in the deck, as this card has the ability, while you control Shining Sarcophagus, this card cannot be destroyed by battle. Also, your opponent's monsters cannot target monsters for attacks except for this one, which is a great effect because usually when your opponent outs a copy of Dragoon, they're probably going to attack over it. But your copy of More Marshmallow actually solves that problem, because now they have to attack into More Marshmallow instead of Dragoon, making this card that much more difficult for your opponent to deal with. So, We then play 3 copies of Ash Blossom. Ash Blossom is definitely a 3 on the build, basically just to stop your opponent from touching the deck. We then play 3 copies of Shifter. Shifter is amazing that can actually win you duels instantaneously by activating this card and actually helps out the strategy of the deck, with cards like Gandora G having the effect that it gains 3 to attack for each banished card, working really well with your copy of Shifter. We then play 3 copies of Nibiru. Nibiru is amazing in this deck just to help you break your opponent's board. So, that's it for the monsters, guys. Let's get into the spells. So for the spells, we're going to start with a single copy of Pot of Prosperity. Pot of Prosperity is really good as a 1-of in the deck, just to help us out with the consistency of the deck. We then play a single copy of Secrets of Dark Magic. Secrets of Dark Magic is really good in the deck to help us summon a copy of Red Eye's Dark Dragoon, especially since this card is a quick play spell that we can actually activate during the opponent's turn to use our copy of Gandora G plus a copy of the Dark Magician to step into a copy of Red Eye's Dark Dragoon. We then play a single copy of Called by the Grave. Called by the Grave is definitely a 1-of in the build, basically just to stop our opponent from hand trapping us or going in for all of our plays. We then play 2 copies of Crossout Designator. Crossout Designator is really good in the deck to be able to play. Basically just, again, stop our opponent from hand trapping us or going in for all of our plays. We then play 2 copies of Ties That Bind. Ties That Bind is a great card to be able to play in the deck, and I really like 2 copies in the build. This card has the ability, if you control a Shiny Sarcophagus and a monster that mentions it, you can special summon up to 2 level 4 or lower monsters with different names that mention Shining Sarcophagus from your hand and or deck. Also, for the rest of the turn, after this effect resolves, you cannot special summon from the X deck, which is not that big of a deal because our main boss monsters outside of Dragoon are in our main deck. This card is really good to be able to search off your copies of your gadget trio, and it's just really good to be able to use in the deck to be able to summon out a copy of your Silent Magician 0 and your Silent Swordsman 0 off your copy of your gadget trio's effect to be able to search this card, which is absolutely amazing. We then play 2 copies of Turn Silent. Turn Silence is definitely a 2-of in the build and just helps out a lot in the deck because this card actually lets you target a face-up monster you control and increase its level by 3. Also, if you activated this card in response to your opponent's monster effect's activation while you control Shining Sarcophagus and a monster that mentions it, negate that opponent's effect. Also, during the damage calculation, if your monster that mentions Shining Sarcophagus battles, you can banish this card from the graveyard and then in the battle phase, which is such a powerful ability. We then play 3 copies of Shining Sarcophagus. This card is amazing in the deck and what the entire deck is actually based around. This card has the ability it cannot be destroyed by monster effects, so it's actually safe from cards like Gandora G. Also, this card has the ability during the main phase you can add 1 card that mentions Shining Sarcophagus from your deck to your hand, which is an amazing effect to be able to use with this card. To basically just summon out your copy of Gadget Trio, search out this card, and then use this card to search out Ties That Bind, then use Ties That Bind to be able to summon out your copies of your Silent Swordsman 0 and Silent Magician 0, which is amazing. This card also has a really cool ability that if your opponent special summons a monster from the graveyard, you can discard a spell and then target one of those monsters and send it to the graveyard, which is a pretty interesting effect. We then play 3 copies of Future Silence. Future Silence is basically a rota for the deck that lets you add a monster that mentions Shining Sarcophagus from your deck to your hand. Then if you activate this card during the battle phase while you control a Shining Sarcophagus and a monster that mentions it, each player draws until they have 6 cards in their hand, which is an interesting effect to be able to use with your copies of your Silent Magician 0. So that's it for the spells, guys. Let's get into the traps. So for the traps, we're just going to be playing 3, and that's going to be 3 copies of Infinite Impermanence. Infinite Impermanence is really good in the deck as a 3-of to basically just stop your opponent's monster effects and also lock down entire columns of spells and traps. This card is one of the most powerful hand traps in the entire game because it also plays around talent and thrust, which is absolutely amazing. So that's it for the main deck, guys. Let's get into the extra deck. So for the extra deck, guys, we're going to start with a single copy of Red Eye's Dark Dragoon. Red Eye's Dark Dragoon is definitely a one-of in the extra deck that actually cannot be targeted or destroyed by card effects, and it can also help us use this card as a walk-in negate to actually protect our copy of Shining Sarcophagus. This card is awesome to be able to summon out to your side of the field using Secrets of Dark Magic plus your copy of the Dark Magician and Gandora G. And my single copy of Chaos Angel. Chaos Angel is amazing to play in this deck as a one-of because it's so easy to summon out in this build, and you don't even have to use a tuner to make this card. You just have to use either a light or dark monster, and it can actually count as a tuner, which is really cool. Helps you spar move cards off the field, and it's really easy to summon in this build because we play a lot of level 3s and level 7s, and we also play a level 6 and level 4s to be able to summon this card out to our side of the field. We play a single copy of Typhon. Typhon belongs in just about every extra deck that can summon him, and it's really good to be able to play in this build. We play a single copy of Zeus just to help us board wipe the field. We can summon this card on top of our copy of Typhon, which is a pretty good option on the follow-up, so it helps board wipe the field. My single copy of Underworld Goddess. Underworld Goddess is amazing to help us basically out towers like boss monsters. Play a single copy of Access Code. Access Code comes out absolutely massive to our side of the field and helps us spot multiple cards on the field, making this card a great boss monster in the deck. We play a single copy of Blackluster Soldier, Soldier of Chaos. I had to sneak a Blackluster Soldier in here somewhere because this card is absolutely amazing, and I really hope they actually retrain Blackluster Soldier as a part of this deck. And definitely comment down below what card you would actually like to see retrained to be a part of the Shining Sarcophagus deck. I would love to see Blackluster Soldier. But this card is really good because actually if it destroys a monster at battle, it either gains 1500 attack points, can make a second attack during the battle phase of your next turn, or non-targeting banishes a card off the field, which is amazing. We'll make a single copy of Nightmare Unicorn to spin stuff, one copy of Selene. Selene is really good in the deck to help you climb into a copy of Access Code so you can OTK, one copy of the Light Charmer, and a single copy of the Dark Charmer. These cards are just really good options overall in the deck to help you climb into a copy of Selene and then Access Code. We then play a single copy of Nightmare Phoenix to pop spells and traps, one copy of Cerberus to pop monsters, a single copy of SP Little Knight, which is just a really good option to be able to use as a double interruption against the opponent. And then finally, a single copy of IP Masquerena. IP is really good to help us step into a copy of SP or a copy of Unicorn during the opponent's turn. So that's it for the deck, guys. I really enjoy this deck. If you guys have never tried a Shining Sarcophagus deck before, you should definitely give this deck a try. It's super nostalgic, and definitely comment down below what monster you'd actually like to see turned into a Shining Sarcophagus monster. I would actually love to see Blackluster Soldier. I think that'd be a really cool boss monster for the main deck, and just an awesome card overall. So that's gonna be this one, guys. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell there so you can become part of our notification squad, and we'll see you guys in the next video. See you later, guys.